Hello, everyone, and welcome to Change Your Thinking, Change Your Body. My guest expert today is JJ Flizanes. Hi, JJ. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, what a pleasure to have you. You've come with a long list of good recommendations, by the way, in terms of having you on and your point of view. I'm really appreciating. So let me just read a short bio. I'll put my glasses on too, and then we can just get right on into it. So JJ Flizanes is an empowerment strategist and the host of the Fit2love podcast show. That's a two. She is the director of Invisible Fitness, an Amazon bestselling author of Fit2love, How to Get Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually Fit to Attract the Love of Your Life. I like that. And the author of Knack Absolute Abs, Routines for a Fit and Firm Core. She was named Best Personal Trainer in Los Angeles for 2007 by Elite Traveler magazine. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
JJ vividly reminds us that the word fitness is not just about state of one's physical body, but also the factors which determine a person's overall well-being. For JJ, the key component is all of these areas are invisible. Balanced support structures of nutrition, emotional centeredness, and health. Well, I think we've got a lot to talk about today, JJ. So thank you and welcome to the summit. How are
Thank
you?
you. I'm great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. It's a topic, change your thinking, change your body, that, well, I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with the first part of that, which I think is a really interesting topic for people to consider. Because a lot of times people think that they're thinking, we all live in our heads so much, and we think, oh, thinking, I have to change my thinking, and oh, I can't think that. And what people don't realize is where the thinking comes from. It's, what's beneath that. So I can't wait to get into this today.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about that too. And I know congratulations on your books.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new one comes out May 18th. The book launches May 18th, and that is The Invisible Fitness Formula: 5 Secrets to Release Weight and End Body Shame.
Oh, well, perfect for this summit. Can you let us in on the secrets?
Sure. The secrets very generally are, well, the first 3 are really scientific. It started out as a personal trainer and got real into the science part of it. And believe it or not, a lot of them don't. In fact, I worked with a client yesterday who's had, a gajillion personal trainers in his lifetime. And when he originally wanted to start this process, he's like, well, here's what I have in my gym. And I said, well, when I come over, I'll see what you have and what we need. And he goes, oh, no, you can just tell me what to do. I've had personal trainers. And I said, yeah, no, you haven't had me. And while I've trained trainers, and there are a lot of great trainers out there, people have their own personalities and stuff. A lot of them, because I trained them. I was director of education for New York Sports Club. I used to train hundreds of trainers. I know that was 20 years ago. Like, I know what they know and don't know. A lot of people get into this business because they're athletes or they're dancers, or they lost a lot of weight, and so they want to help others. But there's really not a lot of science in their repertoire, because you don't have to have a degree to become a personal trainer.
So what sets you apart as a personal trainer then, would you say, based on what you just said?
It is a vast depth of knowledge in, number one, science of the body, biomechanics, physics, anatomy, physiology, and understanding all those components. Because I see people do exercises that are just in physics, like gravity pulls down, and they're using weights in a motion that's in a horizontal plane, which is this way. So those don't match, they don't meet. So if you're holding weights and trying to do a row like this, then you're not actually resisting the motion you're making. So it's just basic things like that. I see stupid exercises all the time that are not efficient, but then they're also bad for your joints. And I was that weird, like 20-year-old who, when my trainers said to me, I have 11 injuries, don't do what I did, I went, okay, I won't. I will learn about the body and how to preserve my body, because I have always, you see older people hunched over and with back pain and hip pain and neck pain, and you can avoid that. You can make choices now on how to preserve, just like your tires on your car or the brakes on your car. You can preserve them and make them last longer, or you can do exercises, which most people are doing, exercises that wear your joints down faster. And then when you have an injury, or now you're bone on bone, guess what? You're not working out anymore because it hurts. So anyway, so on the science side, I have a little bit more than the normal average person. I also am part of a medical team at the Nourishing Wellness Medical Center, and I have learned my depth of knowledge of biochemistry and in hormones, hormone health, and endocrinology is, again, a little bit more than the average person because I work with a doctor and a registered dietitian. So they're constantly learning. I'm constantly learning. I have my podcast show. I interview doctors and nutritionists and all kinds of people. So I'm learning. I'm an avid learner and I study all kinds of stuff. So I never stop learning. So that's where I'm probably a little bit different. I'm up to date on sort of nutritional biochemical things as well as endocrinology and what some of the pioneering physicians out there are doing when it comes to weight loss resistance, when it comes to our body and mind connection. So there's that science piece, but then equally as important, there's the mental emotional piece. And it took me, this journey took me from science of the mind or science of the body to science of the mind, and to really look at metaphysics and quantum physics and spirituality and psychology and our subconscious mind versus our conscious mind and hypnotherapy. And so anyway, so I've learned vibration and frequency, law of attraction. So like half the book is science and half the book is about the invisible part. I mean, it's all invisible, but the invisible parts of the mind and the heart and the soul that contribute to our decisions and our actions and our beliefs.
And I love that you call it invisible, because I think it is just that many people will resist based on the fact that there's nothing tangible I can touch. So I don't kind of wrap my brain around it. And so if we were to put together in the spoke of things, if you will, what would, because everything that you just said, I think, has people going, she's right, but oh my God, where do I start? So where would I start? In both of what you said, the science and the emotional. Let's see if we can tie those two pieces.
So I'll go through the 5 steps. So the 5 steps in the book actually go through the order in which I recommend them. And there's a course, there's a 5-month course that goes along with the book. And there's a membership, the Invisible Fitness Academy, that helps to support you through that process. And because it's a process, it's not learn it, understand it, never do it. Learn it, get overwhelmed by it, go, I don't know what to do first, never do it. It's about actually doing it. And I've done 90-day programs in the past with other companies where I have led them through I like kind of set up the same thing. Okay, here's what we're going to do, but here's where we're going to start. Because most people who want weight loss, and I'm not calling it weight loss, I'm calling it release weight and end body shame, because it's both those things.
I agree.
In my last book, Fit2love, How to Get Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually Fit to Attract the Love of Your Life, that book was about the relationship with yourself and self-care, because you can't attract something you're not.
And you're not giving to yourself. Absolutely.
And you can't give love to someone else that you don't even give to yourself. You may think you do, but unconditional love is a practice, and it's an acceptance, and it's an unlearning of behaviors and patterns and a deepening of that, again, that relationship with yourself. So that book really, while it's about attracting the love of your life, the love of your life is really you. And it's also how I intertwined sort of fitness and love was my story of how I attracted my husband. And it was my very distinct difference. Again, another reason why I'm different in this fitness industry is that I don't count calories. I don't have people track their exercise every day. I mean, not that that's not useful, but the numbers, again, direct us away from what's really going on. And it's a little controlling, and it also adds to the addictive behaviors that we have of control. And because people don't understand the addictions that they have. And so again, you can count calories and you can get successful, but I've watched over and over again, people that have temporary success, but never change. Right. And again, that underlying root belief and feeling and relationship never changes. And so when it comes to exercise, people usually have this, it's punishment. I have to exercise because I hate myself. I don't like the way I look. And in order for me to get love from anybody else, I have to look a certain way. And that sort of perpetuates the fitness industry, which I really hate. And again, there's the lack of science. And then there's this sort of surface only idea of what is lovable or what is acceptable or what is attractive. And so I rebel that. And I'm trying to get people into the Fit2love message and what do I want to say? My mission is to transform your self-care routines into, I'm doing it because I love myself, because I can watch that person walk down the street who's hunched over and has a lot of pain. And I can say, I don't want to do that. So what am I doing today that's helping me ensure that I don't get there? And so rather than thinking of going to the gym or hiring a trainer or working with a coach or an exercise as if I was bad and now I need to correct what I did wrong. So I'm going to pay for somebody because I was a bad person. How about, no. How about on the trajectory that you're on, here's what it looks like. Here's what the decline looks like. And here's what this, and how about I would like to reverse that, because then you can look around and see people who are healthy and twice your age, who are running marathons and climbing mountains and going skiing and have great health and are vibrant and full of life. Now, there's not as many of those, but they're out there, and they're here to show us that this is a choice. There's genetics, of course, but there's also your lifestyle is 90% of what happens to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone does fall victim to, well, my mother and my mother's mother and everybody else, and this, therefore I will be, and this, the outcome of that, and that just perpetuates, to your point, the thinking there. So, it's one thing to say, pull yourself out of that and let's really get to the core of what happens. And then it's another thing to sort of, get somebody over to want to do the work. I mean, how do you know when somebody's ready for deeper work? In even just like, I love the factual, emphatic nature and how you present it, because I think that's important. And so how do you get somebody to know that they're, how you know that they're ready, and how they know that they're ready for deeper work to that end?
Well, not everybody is ready. And that is part of it. But so the book starts with the one thing that we all have to do every day, the food part. And when I had done this, I was a guest trainer on a 90-day program. And again, this is a bunch of people that don't know me. They're not signing up because they know of me or my work necessarily, because there were other coaches. And I took them on this journey. And it was kind of a test before I wrote the book of how people would, because you can't just slap in people's faces, hey, you have emotional issues. Because because honestly, there's a level, there's like steps and levels. And some people aren't even aware that they have issues.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
And so I had a lot of people who were repetitive dieters and have been on lots of programs for lots of years. And they expected the program to be calorie counting and exercise tracking. And then every week I would basically say they were good or that they were bad, and they'd get guilt tripped and shamed, and none of that happened. And so I worked on the food first, and on that part, which I call healing digestion in the book, because people don't realize, because no one's talking about it, like, what does optimal digestion look like, and what are signs of how food affects your body? Because because people are looking at calories and not looking at the effects of food on their physical body, and especially what happens in your intestines, in your colon, in your stomach. So anyway, that's the first step. And I did that with this group, and I worked them into what I'll consider an anti-inflammatory diet. We did a bit of a detox to sort of remove some of that inflammation. Everybody lost weight in the first, 30 to 45 days. They needed to feel like they were on the right track. So you start with the food because you have to eat. And honestly, the food chemistry also affects your brain chemistry and your mood. If you have a lot of carbohydrates and sugar in your diets, you're going to be moody. If you're already an emotional person, you're going to be moody. And when you remove some of those gluten and carbs and sugars out of your diet, your brain chemistry sort of balances back out again. And now you have a more calmer state of being. When you add healthy fats into your diet, your neurological system can be more calm. So you may not be getting the right nutrients to actually support your neurotransmitters in your brain, which then create your dopamine, your serotonin, and norepinephrine. So, brain chemistry is important. And some people are antidepressants when all they need to be doing is changing foods.
Yeah, I've been talking about that too, because it's easier to get a quick, I need a prop or something it's a quick fix. We're in the time, well, I'm going to generalize here, but we're in a time where there is a lot of quick fixes. It is take this pill, have this energy drink, have this and go, and not get to the root cause, because you're always going to be, I call it the hamster wheel. You're always on the hamster wheel. Yep. And the cause and effect, and it's been my experience too with some people that they really, and they're not stupid people, so I don't even want to make it sound like that. But you need to really recognize the fact that if I'm overloading on carbs, to your point, and I'm getting myself into a state, it was the food. It was nothing to do with anything else. It wasn't, I'm so stressed and I didn't sleep, and all of that's connected. I get very frustrated with it, with that's over here, and then there's another here, and there's another here. It's all connected. Yep. To your point, and I know that's why you're very passionate about what you bring to that. So how do you and I don't even want to say convince, that's where my head is, like, convince people about, where they're at. Cause you really have to work with the people who have their hands up, that are willing to work at changing their behaviors. Even the knowledge base that that you offer there, I think that's important too. I always quote Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. Just make yourself smart, and then you'll be able to make the choices that you need for your life. So do what sort of, I'm trying to think what question I really want to ask here, because it's about resistance. It's about how you really sort of, I love that you start with the food, because I think that is right. Make me feel successful now. That's what I need to feel before you open up a door to anything else.
Right.
And so what's the next step then? Once you get me feeling successful and sort of, if I can say it like this, buying into, okay, I think I get where we're going here.
Well, again, the emotional piece is actually the fourth step. It's not even, it's so the second step is getting smart exercise.
Good.
Because again, people are expecting that they're going to need to exercise, and you do, because if you have over 300 muscles and over 200 bones, you were designed to move, not sit. And so explaining metabolism to people who still, I've been doing this for 20 years. And for me, that was 20 years ago. And so when there are people who still don't understand what metabolism is, I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, it's your body. Why wouldn't you understand what your metabolism is? Like, how do your body works? It's your body. Don't you understand how it works? No. So
it's true though. I had a doctor who said once, and this was way, way, way back. He was just like, well, what's your diet? I went, oh my God, I'm not on one. And he said, no, that's what do you eat? Right. But my head was already in the mode.
Right.
So go on. Yeah.
So getting smart exercise, again, looking at the joints, looking at, if you're going to put some effort in, know what to expect from that effort. A lot of people do Pilates and yoga and think they're going to lose a lot of weight. And then they don't. They go, well, I exercised 5 days a week, or I walked every day for an hour. Why did I only lose 5 pounds in 3 months? So understanding, again, there's science. Exercise is science. It's not just go move more. I mean, I know that's what doctors say. It drives me crazy. But that's why people get frustrated with exercise and they go, oh, it doesn't work. I tried it. No, then you're doing it wrong. Really, I'll show you. And the exercise piece is really easy for me to, I mean, when I get somebody who's interested in doing a program, it's not, I don't have to try to sell anything. Right. Once I like do this formula for you and outline it, then they go, oh, like even people that exercise regularly, who do the same program every day for years, they go, well, how come I should do it? Once I show them adaptation, then they go, oh, now I see. Mm-hmm. So get smart exercise is the second step. The third step, again, we're still in the science here, is your endocrinology. It's your hormones. It's your it's your neurotransmitters. It's looking at what your vitamin levels are and what you're deficient in, because when you're deficient, it's going to throw off every part of you. And some people just need to add one thing in, and all of a sudden,
makes a difference.
It all just changes. The body goes, that's what I needed. You overate trying to find this, but you're not going to get that in this. So you can't overlook our hormones and in all parts of our bodies and how aging affects that. And you may say, well, I don't want to do hormones. There's natural ways to increase your own hormone production. There's ways to eat to increase your own hormone production. And then there's bioidentical hormones. I am not a supporter of synthetic hormone replacement. And I'm not a proponent of just go get hormones. You have to be tested. You have to work with a physician. You have to understand the risks and benefits. And really, there aren't as many risks as people think there are. Everyone's afraid of cancer. But more people die of broken hips fractures than they ever do of most cancers, and that you can't even get half the really deadly cancers that kill you quickly from hormones.
Right.
With breast cancer, people can live with 10 to 20 years with breast cancer. Not that I'm saying breast cancer is something we should want, but when you're looking at mortality and when you're looking at like risk and benefit, there's a lot more benefit, and we've been using bioidentical hormones for 70 years safely. So the media, because of Premarin and Prempro, got all crazy because they're synthetic. And anyway, so there's a whole bunch of information on that, but
it's a fear-based tactic when you hear some, and then that just plays and perpetuates. So
right. And there's other ways. And I promote other ways like homeopathic stuff and acupuncture and flower essences. So, I mean, there's lots of ways to increase your body's hormone production, but there is to a certain degree. And then past that, you may need to have something to help you. And if it's bioidentical, it means it's going to be identical to what you produce, and it comes from nature. It's not made in the lab. So that's the third step. And at that point, we now we want to get the body optimally filled with both the hormones that we need and the nutrition that we need and the vitamins and the minerals that we need and any supplements we need to be taking. And once we get there and you're sort of stabilized there, then we can start talking about the habits and behaviors and beliefs.
That makes sense.
At that point, I have some trust established. And because I am, what I love sometimes about my left brain, I mean, I'm both left and right brain, but people hear me very linear, very left brain, because that's how I get people to trust me that I'm scientific. I'm not just right brain woo woo. Although because I can prove that. I can take the same way I can prove to you about biochemistry and prove spirituality. I can actually, and that's where I can get sort of left brain people to open up to be more emotional, and then right brain people to be a little more structured so they can get more results, because they're most of the time not as structured as left brain people. So,
Right.
so just the tactic sort of changes. If I was working with just right brain people, I would go straight into the emotional stuff first. But really, everybody, in order to be successful, you do need some kind of structure, however loose it may be. You eat every day. So I start with the one everyone has to do to survive, which is eating. And so the fourth piece is where we start to walk into identifying your addictions, because everybody has them. Right. And they are the same. It drives me crazy when I hear people go, "Oh, I've been sober for 3 years." And what I learned through doing my podcast show with a lot of medical intuitives and clairvoyant people and psychologists and psychiatrists is that we have, there's the impulse to pick up the drink or the drug or the tobacco or the device or the busyness or the food is all the same.
That's right.
And it's the addictive energy. And just because you stop the behavior, so let's say you stop drinking, unless you heal the addictive energy underneath it, you're just going to turn and do something else. And what happens is sometimes people go in the opposite direction, do something what looks healthy, but in an addictive way, like obsessively. And it's the same energy, but people want to clap and go, "Oh, look how good you're doing. You're right." But it's the same energy. You haven't healed it. You just changed your behavior.
Right.
So
more acceptable, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
But it still keeps you in the same
I agree.
emotional pattern. And now, but so you're still real susceptible to another sort of addiction that can take you down. And it's still an avoidance of what your body and your soul's trying to get you to look at.
And a distraction. Absolutely. I agree completely. And I love the way you put it, because I love that you put it here and you put it here, because that is the same thing, only socially acceptable if I'm on my phone or I'm doing something else. So yeah. And then it just, because then the opportunity for you to go back to the other behaviors that got you there in the first place is even greater, because you've been there, done that already, and haven't healed it, to your point too. So, and success rate in terms of that, have you made the shift for people to understand that and really?
Yeah. So what ends up, I have clients I've worked with for many, many years, and depending on their age, depending on their sign, depending on their, the way they were brought up, and their.
I love that you said their sign. That's really interesting. Okay, go on.
About the sign or about the rest of it?
About the sign, yes.
Well, so astrology is an energy.
Yeah.
And I've worked with astrology for more than 20 years, probably 25 years. Okay. So I've been studying astrology for 25 years, I'm not an astrologer.
Right.
And on my show, I actually have recorded like 2 or 3 shows about astrology, like astrology in relationships, astrology and life purpose. And I've had astrologers come onto the site and onto iTunes and give me a review and said, because I always have the disclaimer. I'm not like, I've done one on tarot cards. I've done one on, I do law of attraction. I do astrology, and I've had clairvoyance. Everybody goes, "Oh no, you did a good job." And I'm like, okay. One woman corrected me. She goes, "You did really great. Just one thing that's not right." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But she's like, "But everything else was great. You did a great job." And I'm like, because I don't do the houses and all that kind of stuff. I use it for personalities. I use it for how you see the world. I use it for what you gravitate towards. I use it for your life lessons in this lifetime, your habits and patterns, so that everything has a reason. Nothing's random. I don't believe in being a victim. And so I want to empower you that you have a journey and a path that you've chosen. Here's what you kind of set up. And then you with that awareness, get to decide if you want to overcome that or not. Mm-hmm. And without that, I think without that awareness, like you said, know better, do better. And without that belief system, then, random stuff just happens to you. And boy, doesn't that feel like crap to really believe that nothing has a purpose and that life just happens and this happens to me. Right. Yeah. I mean, and you can choose that, but it will never feel good. Sorry. It might feel good to not take responsibility for your own stuff, but that will be temporary and you'll feel depressed. Depression really is feeling like you have no power. Mm-hmm. And when you at least can take on the power of saying, I made these decisions, whether it be before I got here or within God or universe or source or spirit, or I made them when I was here, you at least then have choice, and you can make it make sense and put it into a, everything has a purpose.
Mm-hmm. I think we've gotten away from many of that. I call it the princess and the pea. The peas under there, and you just put your layers of life, and you sort of forget the core. And I think people become accustomed to. I say this: it's comfortable in the discomfort of it all, because it's what I do. It's what I know and what I do, and how I got myself here, and how do I get myself out of that. And because of that habit, and that pill to the familiar, we don't see a way out half the time, but there is. And I love the first thing right here: A, awareness; B, choose, and just decide, I don't want to live like this anymore. I want something different. I was sharing this a couple of with another expert, because I've polled many people, and I can't tell you for how long, especially since January, how many people are really sick of the direction of their life. And that's the comment that they get. I don't like the direction of my life. So there's an opportunity to choose and change it. And it can happen. To your point about that, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. So make the choices. And I think that all the things that come at us are for us to point us in the right direction. It's just a question of paying attention to that, right?
Yeah. And I would say divine timing, that things happen when you're ready for them. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's that you weren't ready. And so you're ready when you're ready, and and there are people that are ready, and there are people that will never be ready, but maybe they'll move a couple inches. They won't make big leaps, but because they're choosing. And I just worked with someone yesterday who basically said, the pain of being alone is familiar and less painful than heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
comfortable in the discomfort. Exactly.
Right. But really he's ready because otherwise, he wouldn't have attracted me, and he wouldn't have come to find me, and he wouldn't have been coached, so I think he's ready because, but it's anyway. So,
that's an important piece, I think, even if, even for everybody who's hanging in there listening to this entire interview that didn't say, oh, that's not me, and click out. Right? Because it is about, like, this was meant for me. So let me listen with a different set of ears, if you will. That's exactly how I look at my life. I don't look at it as what's happening to me anymore. I remembered feeling that way, and I felt so uncomfortable with that. Like that's craziness. What do I have, a sign on my back? And as soon as I felt like I was a victim, I said, that doesn't even feel right. So I look at the opportunities, the good and the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly,
right,
as they're happening for me. And you're right, they're the messages. So sometimes I realize that the ones that I ignore, or the ones that I've let brush by, it comes back in intensity, says, oh, you ignored me the first time, hear me this time. So I love the pieces that you put together here. I love the right brain, left brain thing. I'm all over that. And I love the process, because I think I hear definitely that there's, when you're feeling balanced within your body physiologically, you are psychologically ready then, because, all the things are working on all four cylinders. So that's a really great thing. Appreciate that you bring that to the world, JJ. So, so talk a little bit about your free gift, because I think it comes in line with what we're talking about here.
Yeah, my free gift is an ebook version of my Fit2love book. So the Fit2love, how to get physically, emotionally, and spiritually fit to attract the love of your life. And again, it's the ebook version. But
nice cover.
Thank you. And again, the relationship starts with you and how you feel about yourself, whether it be that, and if you don't love yourself enough. I've had somebody ask me, like, why do I repel women was the question. And I didn't want to answer that because I said, well, how do you know that you repel women? But take 10 steps back. I would have said, well, because you don't love yourself. And it's clear by this, and this to me. Like, that's what I get. I get that you don't think you're worth taking better care of yourself and blah, 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 okay? So it's not that I'm judging anybody of saying that no one's worth, right? It's a self-judgment. It's what you know that when you meet somebody, you can feel the people who like themselves and you can feel the people that don't like themselves. You can feel when people are looking for validation constantly from other people and from the people that really, I mean, don't you kind of admire people that don't care of what other people think of them, like really don't care. I mean, there are people that say, oh no, I don't care. I don't care. But obviously in their reaction,
Like,
like, oh,
but it's just, yeah. No, and you do know them. I've known them, and I've taken a step back going, I could really like that. That's very attractive to me.
Yeah.
And male, female, it's a very attractive energy.
Well, they're holding their power. They're in their power. They're not giving it away. I mean, I had another hater. I've transformed the way that I deal with haters. I don't have that many, but the more I have, I actually kind of go, haha, like there's a marketing concept that 10% of the people that will always love you no matter what you do, and 10% will hate you no matter what you do. And then there's everybody in the middle. So if you only have people that really love you, you're not reaching a big enough audience. So every time I get someone who hates me, I'm like, oh, I'm reaching more people. So it's kind of it's kind of fun in a way. Not that I want to be hated necessarily, but it makes me go, okay, great. I'm reaching enough people. And then I had someone a couple weeks ago write a comment on my YouTube, and she's like, you seem false. And that's like right there. I'm like, yeah, see, it's not going to bother me because she was in pain. I could read that she was in pain, and she'd
rather point the finger at you. Yeah.
Yep. Rather than looking at within. And so, cause I watch everything, I listen to everything I put out all the time to double check and see how I like that it represents who I am, and that it feels heart open. And I would never put out something that I thought, rub somebody the wrong way intentionally if there was any underlying subconscious blaming going on. And so I know when I see that people are in pain and they just want to blame people. So I feel bad for that person, but they didn't bother me because I know, when someone says something about you that you get triggered by, it means you agree with it. And if there's anything about me that I can say without hesitation is that I'm not false or fake or inauthentic. I will catch myself. I will get out of a situation if I am anywhere near inauthentic. I can't do it. It feels, I have sag in me all over the place. The truth of not being truthful just bothers me. So I'm not, this is who I am. So the book is about liking who you are and establishing a better relationship with your self-care routine and exercise and eating patterns that support that you care about your longevity, that you care about your vitality, that you care about your health, that you care about the way you look and feel. And that's sort of then you attract better things. You attract more love from other people as well as from yourself.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartely about that too. And I've been talking about the most intimate relationship you will have with anyone in this lifetime will be the one you have with yourself. And because if I can't give it to me, I can't give it back to anybody else. And I don't fear that. If I can just say that, don't fear that, because it's you who will be found. I believe that wholeheartedly too. And if you don't like the direction of your life, change it. Let's go. What is the quote? You're not a tree. I think it's Jim Rohn said something. I'm going to misquote it, but you're not a tree, so just let's go. You can get up and change that too. What would be one, I mean, you pulled in so many different things. And some people may be going, yeah. And other people may be going, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. Where could I start today after I click out of this interview to make some changes for myself based on what you've said? I know you've got many. I could feel her. I could feel your energy already. Go ahead.
So I'm a big proponent of Dr. Marshall Rosenberg's work, Nonviolent Communication. And I've got a download. It's free on my Fit2love site. It's under the 3 steps for effective communication on a thoughtful Thursday. It's episode 118. And that show and that download is called the Feelings and Needs List. And it starts with, you have to start with where you are right now. And so being aware of what you are feeling, because what you're feeling is because you have a need that's not being met, especially when it's a negative feeling. Obviously feeling good, your needs are being met. But if you have a negative feeling, it's because you have a need that's not being met. And so identifying your feelings and then your needs and what's like right in front of you right now, because you got to get that out of the way. So what is it that you're feeling? What's this perpetual feeling you have? And what is the need that's not being met that keeps creating this feeling over and over again? And the step 3 of that process is to create some strategies to get the need met that don't require anyone else to be different. So it's a practice in taking responsibility for getting your needs met, but the identification of it alone can help you get out of that stuck place of wherever you are. Because most people feel a feeling and they just wait for the feeling to go away. But the feeling's there telling you something. It's telling you have a need that's not being met. So until you get the feeling taken care of, it may go away temporarily, but it'll come back because you still have that need. And we don't talk in terms of needs.
Yeah.
And so I think probably what I would tell people to do. Start with, go to fit2love.tv and go to episode 118, listen to the show, download the sheet, and do the work and figure out what do you need right now? And then start there. And then you can be more clearly, then you can clearly feel into what am I willing to do? Ask yourself after that, what am I willing to do? Not what should I do? What am I willing to do? What feels easy?
Very key. Very, very, very key. And not wanting and resisting that urge to want to do a 180 tomorrow. I think that's wise advice. So thank you for that too. And I like that you said it doesn't require anybody else to change or anybody else in your life, right? It's just about you getting straight with you. Because once you say, oh, my husband, my kids, my this, my that, right? I postpone again.
Yep, you're a victim and you will never get that need met because you're waiting for someone else to change. It's not going to work like that.
And how's that working for you? Yeah, I always ask that question of myself too. You were a delight to speak to. You're full of energy and conviction about what you do. And I appreciate the work that you're bringing to everyone. And I know that the audience today got a lot of good nuggets. And I think if we start there with your that advice, small, but it will unlock a door, baby, with starting there. So, but thank you for that, and good luck on your book, and thank you for your generous gift of the free ebook of that. And we're in the same hood, so I'll probably see you around.
Yeah, come to my book launch. It's May 18th.
I would love that. Where are you launching?
Right now it's being held at Agape. So I will send out a email and
my favorite place.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I will come to that. Absolutely. I will come to that. It's a great place there too. And Michael Beckwith is going to be there?
I don't know if he'll be there. His brother will be there, Akili, because he's the one that runs the bookstore, but I'm not sure if Michael's doing.
What a great place to launch it. Oh, all the best to you, JJ. And everyone that's watching, thank you so much. And quite honestly, we would really like to know if there's, anything that resonated with you today or anything on the summit, quite honestly, because we're here to serve and support you. So please let us know what you'd like to see more of or what you're struggling with that we might be able to answer. So, give us a shout. You can answer the email that I sent today. We'll get information for you. Yeah. JJ, you do a lot of information and always keep yourself constantly learning. I love that. That's where I try to sit too. Constantly learning, never stop, keep immersing yourself, right? So awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. And have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.